Hi, welcome to What's in the Box. I thought we could do something different while we're waiting for the next painting video. If you're just here to see what's on the sprue, first of all, give me a like, maybe a comment, maybe a subscribe, and skip to this time code. So this just arrived. I pre-ordered the Nightmare Kill Team box. I've never bought a full box before. I've got a couple of kill teams, but a friend of mine was interested in the Mandrakes, and because of Adam Dembski Bowden, I am pretty interested in the Night Lords, and I wanted to paint some up. If you do want to see some videos of me painting Night Lords, let me know. Do you want to see a single unit? Do you want to see how I would paint an entire squad? Let me know. Okay, so what actually is in the box? First, giant piece of plastic. It's massive. It's huge. I don't know if any of the other boxes have pieces this big in there, but there we go. All the pieces to put it together. It's quite a hard plastic. I've not had GW terrain before, so I don't know if that's normal, but most of the other terrain I've got is quite hard plastic. Okay, we'll take a look at those sprues later. Let's see what you get in this pack. First of all, some nice artwork throughout this entire box. It's really nice. I do enjoy seeing artwork. As you can see on the index cards, they're just, as standard, pictures of the models, which I guess it's nice, but I would rather see some artwork on there. So these are all the index cards, similar to your standard army index cards. They're laid out pretty much the same, but with kill team specific stats and all that. The Night Lords index, they all seem fairly different characters, which is a little different to the Mandrakes. We'll get into that later. So this entire kill, I don't know, I've not played them, but both teams seem broken. For different reasons. Now the Mandrakes look very, very killy. They all have lethal 5s, which is scary. And I think they all, yes, all of them also have Soul Strike, which I think is new. I'm not sure. But basically it kind of reverses your dice rolls. So if you roll really badly, like me, you'll win more, because you need to get lower numbers. You need to get below. It basically switches the number. If you have some squishy units, it's going to hurt fighting these guys. I think if you like a fairly simple killy team, which might be why you're playing kill team, Mandrakes look pretty good. It's not my vibe. I just like my units to have a bit more utility. There's some cards with your tack outs on. There are cards with your strategic ploys, some with your tactical ploys. You get equipment cards and ability cards as well, which is pretty cool. What I really like is you get a little token guide, which tells you what all the tokens mean. I'll show you the tokens in a minute. But that'd be really nice for your opponent to actually see what some of these mean. If you're splitting this with a friend who wants the Mandrakes, like I am, the lion's share of this box is actually Night Lords. That's not to say that the Mandrakes aren't cool, but it does feel like they wanted to do a Night Lords kill team and thought about the box and put these guys in. These guys can probably go toe to toe with the Night Lords, and they're quite similar. They're in the shadows. They're both edgelords. Everything in Warhammer can be edgelords. But yeah, you'd probably want to not split it 50-50 and basically give the Mandrake kill team to a friend and get a nice discount on the box. You get these really nice printed tokens. Thick cardboard. These should last maybe 5 games before you start pulling up some of the prints. I like the style of the Mandrakes. It kind of looks like they're now an organic food company. Is that where they're going? Is that where the lore's going? Is corpse starch organic food? So that's all the cards and tokens, and you also get the book, which has some really nice artwork on it. It's well printed, as you would expect at this point. There's lots of art through the book. It's your standard orange highlighted Kill Team graphic design. But there's plenty of artwork in here. Look at that. That's banging. They got some Blanche-esque artwork in there. I don't think there is. It's cool though. But it's full of some backstory, some explanations of what you've got, all the rules that you get on cards anyway, how to build a team, although it does give you everything you need for that anyway, printed versions of the index cards. There are also a bunch of missions in the back, and I think they all seem to require some of the other terrain. Now, I remember Games Workshop saying something about they're not going to sell the terrain and they're going to sell it separate, and they sold some parts separate, right? But for all these missions, you need the other pieces, the tower and the walkways, which comes in a separate box, and then this giant piece of plastic fits in the middle. I don't know if I'll pick those up or not. I guess I could just make some walkways. Let's get into the main meat. We've got a lot of sprue here. Again, there are more sprue for the Night Lords. There does seem to be extras here and there for the Night Lords. I'm not sure if that's true for the Mandrakes. I think they're pretty standard with maybe a swap or two. Really good details. And as is now custom with modern sculpts, the mole lines are pretty minimal. If you just like to prime and put colors on, you can probably get away with that. You won't be seeing mole lines at a distance. I will be removing every instance of a mole line, but that's just how I want my minis to look. The variation of the Mandrakes, this is true in the index cards as well. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount of difference. They all look quite similar. They are decent poses and sculpts. They look very dynamic and badass. But there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of differentiation between each unit. Enough to know who you need to stay away from and who's got some crazy stuff going on, like the Shade Weaver has a giant... It looks like a cape, but I think that's supposed to be shade magic? I'm not sure. You can definitely tell the difference, but they do look quite similar. I really like the capes. The hard folds are pretty cool. I won't be painting these, so I don't... I don't know how fun they would be to paint, but I prefer Space Marines. Speaking of Space Marines, here's some Chaos Boys. These sculpts are wonderful. That dead Astartes torso, that is one of the things that made me want to buy this entire set. They got some cowled heads, they've got some... There's one or two heads without the wings. I mean, you could clip them off. There's a bunch of different pauldrons that all look different. They're not interchangeable. So one of them is called like a Flash Weaver. What's he called? He is called Skin Thief. The Night Lord's Skin Thief. I love the Night Lords. It's not my fault. It's Adam Dembski. It's Adam Dembski Bowden's fault. We got the Skin Thief, the Screecher, the Fearmonger. I'm probably gonna... The leader is the Night Lord Visionary, and I'm probably gonna paint him like Talos from the Night Lord's book. Look at those Screamer Hounds with the skulls on. These are really nice sculpts. They are, at least to me, infinitely more interesting than the mandrakes. I'll show you some size comparisons in a second, just to show you. They seem pretty much in scale with the Death Guard. The Death Guard are quite chunky boys. But here's him next to Primaris scale. Yeah, definitely shorter, which makes sense lore-wise. The sizes next to the Primaris, they seem comparable, but shorter because of the Primaris lore. They don't look silly small. They don't look like squatties next to them. They have definitely scaled these up, as you'll see when I compare them to some Death Guard that I've been painting. Now, Death Guard are generally a bit more chunky, and these guys are definitely more spry. But the size comparison, if you look at the backpack there, it's pretty much the same. The Death Guard are just a bit more thick, and these guys are a little more slender, which makes sense for how they work. I was looking at this skull that hangs off the back of someone. It looks a little bigger, but I don't know if that's just a trick. It looks a tiny little bit bigger, so you can see that skull in there, which is cool. These sculpts are brilliant. Here's a size comparison of the mandrakes to Primaris. Seems fine. Again, they look shorter, but now with the proportions of all the sculpts, they don't look like they're from a different game anymore. These are pretty good. I didn't have any human-sized to hand. But we all basically know the size of a Primaris, right? You also get, I wasn't expecting this, but a Chaos Space Marine transfer set. It's pretty nice. Having a close-up look, it hasn't got any of that nasty pixelation you can sometimes get in kits. But I will be keeping this because I want to do a few Chaos. Just single units, just to have a go. I do some Alpha Legion. What do you want to see? What Chaos unit do you want me to paint next? So what do you actually get in the box? We'll move on to close-ups in a moment, but these are the parts that are exclusive for the mandrakes. You get 6 quarter sprues, you get your token sheet, you get a pack of cards with all your ploys, equipment, etc. You get your index cards, and you also get 28mm bases. And as this is essentially the Night Lord's box, you get a lot more. 3 half sprue and 2 quarter. You get the cards, you get the 35mm bases, again I think extra. You get your token sheet, you get all the index cards, and you even get transfers. Don't think it was needed, but it's nice to have in the box. This is what's left, this is what you'll be fighting over, maybe. You get the full book, which obviously we can find all the rules on websites. Get the giant piece of plastic and then a sprue with all the side pieces on. Again, this is very hard plastic. And you also get the instruction booklet on how to put them together, which I shouldn't be disparaging because I know some people find putting models together quite difficult. It's not something I've ever had difficulty with. If actually putting together some miniatures is something you'd like to see, let me know. Thanks for watching the video. The close-ups will follow directly after this thing that I'm going to do. I know this is a different video to the other videos on the channel, but we've had such a great response to the videos that I thought maybe I'll put out another one in between waiting for whatever is happening next. Now, a lot more people have watched those videos than I ever expected to, so thank you so much. If you want to do all the YouTube things that you're supposed to do, call to action, blah blah blah, feel free. Other than that, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I should. Maybe we should start with the box. Where's the box? Here we go. Okay, we're not starting with